Welcome back to Vintage HLC Show and Tell. Today we're looking at Seneca. This is a fancy embossed shape that was made from roughly 1901 to 1909. Now if we look at our fancy embossed group of shapes by Homer Laughlin, Seneca sort of falls in the middle. Prior to Seneca you have Golden Gate, American Beauty, and Colonial, and after Seneca you have King Charles, The Angelus, and Hudson. And Seneca is a little bit different than the other six. First of all, its assortment is somewhat limited. If we look at the others, you have multiple sizes of sugars, you have multiple sizes of creamers, but with Seneca you only have one sugar. You also only have one creamer. The other shapes have both a sauce boat and a gravy fast stand. Seneca only has the sauce boat. The others have, the soup tureen and the oyster tureen. Seneca only has the oyster tureen, which is our round, large piece with a notched lid. Another difference with Seneca, and I hate to say this, but it kind of has a clunky body. It's a heavier body than the other six. And you can sort of see it with this 36's bowl with a thick wall. That's pretty common with a lot of these pieces. Same with this sugar bowl. It's a rather heavy piece in comparison to the other fancy embossed shapes. Not nearly as thin or delicate. In fact, a lot of the Seneca pieces are going to be marked with a white granite marking. Let's find a good one. Here's one. So we have our signature marking with white granite underneath. That's your first marking that was used on Seneca. And then later on they use the fleur-de-lis marking, as you see here. The fleur-de-lis with Homer Laughlin and Seneca written out underneath. You will not find Seneca with any date codes. So we'll look at some of the treatments. And we looked at Seneca quite a bit when talking about the fancy embossed group treatments and how they work and how they relate to American Beauty. So this plate has an underglaze print. It's Primrose. It's pattern number 6823, and this particular green is called Myrtle. There's also another green that's a lighter version. I don't have one out to show you. I only have this one. So again, 6823 is the treatment number for Seneca. So on American Beauty, it's 823. On Colonial, it's 4823. And the Angelus, it's 9823. So all we do is change that leading digit from American Beauty. Again, on Seneca, it's 6823. Let's see. We have our Campion print. We saw this in the video when we were talking about the treatment numbers. Another underglaze print that originated on American Beauty, but found its way onto Seneca. This is part of a service for 4 that I have with an underglaze print in blue. And I just wanted to show these because I thought this was unusual. I have a service for 4, and instead of using fruit cups as you would normally see in dinnerware sets, they're using the smallest size of the oval bakers, which is somewhat unusual. And here's our Seneca teacup and saucer. Again, thicker and heavier, somewhat clunky in comparison to the other pieces of fancy embossed shapes. This gold stamp treatment is 6862. I've not seen this on any other shape, so I do believe it is unique to Seneca. This is the pickle or gravy liner. Of course, our sauce boat. A small size jug being used in the place of a creamer. And the covered sugar bowl. This covered dish has treatment number 6011. So this originates on Seneca. It's called Pansy and Scroll, and it has gold stipple. See if it has treatment number 6011S. That's not a 5, that's an actual S. Sometimes people confuse that for a 5. So that S stands for stipple. So if you have this version of Pansy and Scroll, and the gold line has faded away on this one, it's just 6011. Of course, we saw the 36's bowl. Osborne Rose is 6729. So we have it here as 6729 and then 6729S because of the stipple. If we look at the treatment numbers, 6729 and 6729S. Now this is another one that originated on American Beauty. So it's 729 on American Beauty. It's also 4729 on Colonial. We've seen this in several videos. The Seneca Holly, it's an underglazed print with filled-in details. Gold stipple 6009S. If it didn't have the stipple, it'd just be 6009. What else? Daisy. This treatment originates with Seneca. And Daisy is 6005. Although we have stippling on this handle, so it's 6005S. It's Daisy with filled-in details, and we have our white granite marking. In the back is a souvenir plate. And we can kind of see the Seneca embossing on this one. Our little curly cues. Rather different from the other, swaggy type embossing. This one's not nearly as elaborate as the others. And this one says 35th anniversary of Robert Burns Lodge. There's Robert Burns. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, March 29th, 1905. One last thing about Seneca, which is somewhat odd. The jugs are not hard to find. These are all 24s jugs, or your medium-sized jug. We've got underglazed print, filled-in details, gold stipple. We've got gold stamps. These particular gold stamps start with the Angelus, if I'm not mistaken. We'll look at that when we get to the Angelus video. Another one with gold stamps. More often you'll find these on Wyoming toiletware, but here they are on a Seneca jug, probably a specialty piece. The smallest size jug, we've already looked at this. This is the 48's jug. The jug that was being used as a creamer, that's a 42's jug. And finally, we have this piece. Let me move this out of the way. Another 24's jug. I generally do not collect pieces that are hand-painted outside the factory, but this one was nicely done. Plus it's Seneca. Seneca is one of my favorites. The bottom was not painted very well, but we see our Lachlan white granite marking. That tells us this is the Seneca shape. Again, we see our little curly Q embossing. Another thing about Seneca, you can always tell it on site by the double thorns on top. It's the only shape that really has that. All of your pieces are, gravy has a double thorn, our sugar has a double thorn, creamer has a double thorn. So I think that's going to be it for Seneca. Next time we'll probably look at another fancy embossed shape.